Hey there, Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 1788 of What You Up To Now. Documenting the journey. Originally started doing this online journal as my vision was deteriorating and I was coming online from the offline brick and mortar corporate world of business and starting to do things in the online world. And actually, I found myself getting really overwhelmed and pulled down different directions and different trails that weren't necessarily the right one for me, but this whole shiny object syndrome that I'd never heard about in the offline world was so true in the online world because the barrier to entry to different things is so low. I mean, for a few $100 or a few $1,000s or for something free, you can be pulled into and sucked into a whole different direction for your business, for your life, for your learning, for anything. And it's called shiny object syndrome on the internet. And I was like, what the heck is shiny object syndrome? And then I started to experience it and I realized, oh my gosh, it is an absolute thing that happens to us. And so I cut myself off from a lot of different things, social media, a bunch of different groups and organizations that I was a part of, and said, all right, I need to focus in on what feels right for me and what's right for me. So that's why I do my annual challenge. That's why I do other challenges. That's why I do masterminds and coaching and client work, etc., and help businesses to grow and build and supersize, because I've done a lot of that throughout my life and my career, both in corporate America and then owning and operating a lot of different businesses in a lot of different industries. I think my forte is processes and systems and automating things that should be automated and not automating the things that we necessarily love, but finding ways to make the things we love and we're best at things that we do the most and that we actually do automatically, right? The things that we really want to create and become a part of our life. So today, the two pieces of content that I've created so far, as I am obviously home in my crazy background and broke my ring light when I was traveling, so my videos have been interesting over the last few weeks since I broke my ring light. Now I got home, had to set up a new ring light, wanted to change my background, but got home too late and so much going on that I didn't get to it yet. So over the next couple of weeks, probably with the new year, I will have a different background. I can't commit to it being professional as other people would define professional, because I'm not like everybody else. I mean, we all think that we want to conform and be like everybody else, but do we really? I had to drop dead to figure that one out, and that it's important that we be who we are and authentically who we are, and then everything else will fall into place. And if we make our decisions and our choices and everything based on who we really are and what feels right to us, we'll really seldom, if ever, get led astray. It's when we deviate from what we know is right for us by using our head, our heart, and our intuition that we get off track. And we follow shiny object syndrome. When we do what other people tell us to, when we worry about whatever people think, and we compare ourselves to others. All bad things when it comes to being yourself. So today, for our BU 365-day challenge, I'm asking 2 questions a day. And the first question today was, if you could be reincarnated as anything, what would it be? Now, when we're not talking about whether reincarnation is real or not, or whether you believe it or not, just a hypothetical question. If you could come back as something or someone else, who and what would it be? Now, I don't think we can really come back as someone else, so maybe let's take that off the table. But if you want to say, I would be Marilyn Monroe, I would be a politician, I would be anybody of any, for any reason, then you could do that. But it's a hypothetical question, so it doesn't matter. You can answer it any way you want. So that was our first question. And then our second question, which has to do with soap. So of course I like it, but it's a silly question. Says, if soap falls on the floor, is the soap dirty or is the floor clean? Now, I think that's kind of a silly question, but since we deal with the soap framework and we've done it dozens and dozens of times this year, I think it's a fun one. Anything that has to do with soap, I kind of get a kick out of these days. Why? Because it's such an awesome framework, and when we have it in our subconscious, it makes every challenge, every change, every obstacle, every setback, every disappointment so much easier to deal with. And it guarantees, because we put it in our subconscious, that we automatically deal with those situations in a way that's better for us than if we didn't have a system at all, right? We all have a system, but sometimes our process and our system is to avoid a situation, or to just do the fastest, easiest thing, or take the first thing that comes to our mind and take action on that. That's usually not in our best interest. At least that's been my experience. So that was our questions for the BU 365-day challenge, to do one thing every day that improves us. Our idiom today, to kind of correspond with that for our Supersize Your Business for female entrepreneurs, or for any entrepreneurs group, was a matter of life and death. So I said, is number one, I titled it, is supersizing your business a matter of life and death? Is it a must do, gotta do, I'm all in, I'm gonna figure it out no matter what thing for you? And if you're starting your own business, if you bought a business and you're running a business and growing and supersizing and scaling that business, I'm not gonna say it has to be, but for me personally, I have to be all in on it. How do I know? I've been the owner of businesses and the operator of businesses that I wasn't all in on, because part of me, either my head, my heart, or my intuition, wasn't 100% sold on that business, that industry, whatever. And I found that my results reflected that. And if I wanted to grow and build and supersize that business, some of them I just disposed of and sold because I knew I wasn't the right person to be leading and running and superseding that business, because it wasn't a matter of life and death for me. It didn't match my core values and my why and what I wanted to create in the world. And so that's why I asked that question for Supersize Your Business today. So that's it. If I can help you anyway, I am home and unpacking and unraveling and getting ready and finishing up projects for this year, as well as not plotting and planning, but kind of plotting and planning what's going to happen for me personally next year. I have got heart surgery sometime, but I'm not sure when. So that makes daily content production a bit of a challenge, but it's not an insurmountable challenge. But I guarantee if I'm unconscious and having heart surgery, I'm probably not going to be going live. I'll be live, but I won't be awake. And if you're not awake, it's pretty hard to create videos. So if I can help you anyway, askpajamagrandma@gmail.com is my Voxer handle. It's also an email account, so you could email me there. But I guarantee if you email me, it's going to be slow for me to reply. If you Voxer me, I'll answer, usually right away. Or unless I'm in a meeting or a consult or something, it might be an hour or so later. But if you're brave enough to ask me a question, I guarantee I'll answer it. All right. And you don't have to be brave, right? You just have to ask. But for me, asking is sometimes the biggest act of courage that I can personally show. All right, have an awesome day. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.